All right, we're not ready yet, so give us a second. Okay, guys, just one more second. Just bear with us. Give us 1 second. All right, there we go.
Guys.
So we are back. If you guys don't know who we are, I'm Joshua Ray Farmer here at High Sierra Tattoo Co., Clovis, California, and this is the lovely Felicia.
Marie Smith.
Marie
Nice
Smith.
to meet everyone.
That's right. So hello, everybody. Thanks for watching. If you guys have never seen this before, this is just a live Q&A session that we do weekly. So we've been pretty committed. It's pretty badass. And not only do we do it weekly, but we ask you guys to submit questions online, and you can do it through our social media platforms, or even here in the comments below. You guys can also ask us anything you want. So we're just here to answer your questions. We have a bunch of questions already people have asked. We're going to answer them. It's mostly all tattoo related. I actually didn't screen any of the questions today, so hopefully we don't get any of those, what do they call them, trolls?
Trolls?
Is it a troll? What, like when people like hassle you online? What is it called?
Oh, yeah.
Like whatever it's called. Yeah, trolls. I'm going to call them trolls because it sounds right.
Meanies.
Yeah,
haters.
meanies. So just bullies. So anyway, we have a bunch of questions we're going to answer, and then you guys can, again, in the comments below, ask away. One thing I always like to do is ask people to let us know where you're viewing from, where you guys are at, and who are, I always say callers, who our callers are. Who are you, where are you guys from? And yeah, anyway, so we're going to go straight into the questions. This is like I'm so unprepared because I always forget every single time. That's my dyslexia. Guys, I'm an artist, so forgive me. I think this is episode 10.
I think this is too.
10's a big deal. That's a big number. I mean, to me, it's a big number.
10 weeks.
Yep. So this is, let's just say episode 10. You know what I should do? I should check. I should go on my...
Hi, Carson.
I should go on my actual page and see, because that's pretty silly that I actually don't know. So let's take a look. So who's on here? Carson?
Mm-hmm.
Carson.
Happy hump day.
That's right. So yes, it's Hump Day Q&A Tattoo Shop Extraordinaire. Yeah, you guys ask us and we answer. So that's a lot of fun.
We provide the answers.
Yes.
Watching from Clovis, Natalie Coots says, hello.
Natalie Coots is here. Yeah, apparently I don't number them online, so if people are watching, I'll get better at this, guys. I'm still learning, but let's just say this is episode 10. Episode 10, we're rocking and rolling. We're going to get straight into the questions, and you guys feel free, again, in the comments to ask questions. And we will do our best. It's going to be a bit of a focus and a change, is that we're going to do our best to pay attention to everything you guys are asking, and the actual chat feed, almost more priority than the questions that we're asking. So if we have to cut a question or a response short, we'll do that just so that we can try to respond to whoever's on here and whatever question you guys ask. We're going to get better at doing that. I'm going to get better at doing that because I suck at doing that. So
ask us questions.
So ask us
on
questions.
Here.
Yeah, if you don't ask us questions,
because you guys are priority.
You know the rules. What are the rules? If they don't ask us questions, what happens? We kick them off. We're going to block you from all social medias, and you're screwed. Yeah, and also if you guys know the keyword, it's the answer to all of our questions. So we can actually just cut this short. If you guys don't want to hear all the questions and don't want to ask questions, we're going to give you the answer to all of them.
Bring cash.
Bring cash. That's right. Before I do ask my first question, or before I read the first question asked, I'm going to let you guys know we also have a special guest. Is there anything you'd like to say
special guest
about our special guest? We can't give anything away yet. They have no idea who it is.
They are very talented.
Ooh, That's true. Very talented.
They may or may not be actively working in the shop.
Or standing right behind the camera. They may or may not be grinning ear to ear out of excitement, just pure excitement. If you have to go throw up, you can go do that before we get on. Anyway, so yeah, we do have a special guest. I'm excited to bring her on. She's never been on one of our lives before, so it's going to be, I just kind of gave some of it away. Whatever. Yes, it's a female. So we've never brought her on before, but she has technically, if you've ever watched these live feeds, just a little clue, she has been on a live feed before, but that doesn't really tell you much because a lot of people have been on our live feeds. So there we go.
Hi, Brian. Brian is also watching from Clovis.
Nice.
How's it going?
What's up, Brian?
He
So we got
works-
Carson, we got Natalie on here, Brian. So yes, thanks guys for letting us know where you're calling. I'm gonna do that forever. Thanks for letting us know where you're calling from. I feel like I need phones like ringing. Hello, callers.
So Brian asked, if I work until 5 every day, can we /I schedule a tattoo after 5 or on the weekend?
So yes, Brian, the answer is yes, but there may be limited availability depending on what you're wanting to get done and who you're wanting it to be done by. Some of the artists here leave earlier than that and some stay. So it'll just depend on what you're wanting, and the best way to get that started, since you're here in Clovis, is just come in and
Bring cash.
bring cash. So Brian, just come in, bring cash, and we're ready to rock and roll. So we can always set you up with somebody. If it's not today or the day you walk in, it'll be at least something we could schedule later on. So feel free to do so. You can even let us know right now if you want to. I mean, just screw it, right? Just like tell us what you want.
Yeah.
So we're not going to read Mrs. Briggs' comment.
We're just going to pin it.
We're not. Yeah, I'm just going to pin it, and we're not even going to tell you guys who that is because she's a very special lady in our lives, and she likes to be silly. What's funny is she must be the person who said that earlier.
I think
On Facebook? Did she? No, she doesn't use Facebook. I'm going to show you
I
something.
think that's so funny. If she doesn't, then that's
'Cause look,
a weird
somebody
coincidence. Yeah, you already said that. Oh wait, no, it's
Is
the
that her?
same. It's the same
that
first
her?
name. Yeah, I think so.
Midna, you're on I just gave it away. Midna, you're on Facebook, and you already said, well, you already responded with the same exact response. So if you guys want to know, that's Barney there. You can go ahead and like that. You can either like it or...
Of course, that's Minna.
Yeah, it sure is. And what she doesn't know is we have a ban button right next to her name on our end. So we can ban you not only from this, but from all social medias for the rest of your life. We'll destroy all of your emails and all your email systems. So you
Barney's
get pretty
face.
screwed. Amanda is on here. What's up, Amanda? Hope you're doing well. Good to see your name at least pop up on the screen. So ask away, you guys. If you have any questions, ask away. We will do our best to respond to you. And we're going to get right into our first question that's been submitted of the day and see where we go from here. Now, I don't know if we brought any stones today. If you guys don't know, we usually do. But guess what we do have? We have a fucking wand. What? So today we're
Magic.
passing the wand.
Freaking
guys.
wand.
Okay, let's take a look here. Let's get into it.
Bippity boppity boo. Love.
Okay, so remind me, my dyslexic mind again, how this works. So you ask.
I'm
the
gonna
question.
ask a question since I have one.
She has the wand, so she asks the questions. When I get the wand, I get to ask the questions.
What is the thing you feel you are most talented at? Line shading, highlighting, etc. So what style? What technique do you feel you're the best at?
I would say I'm the best. I'm absolutely the best. So that's a really great way to phrase it, because considering that I am the best, I would say it's in shading and any sort of 3D realism, portraiture, that type of work. Lining, I will be completely honest with you, anybody watching. You guys I have no problem with you knowing this because it's not something I prefer. I absolutely suck at lining. I do my best, and maybe some people would disagree, but I am really, really, I'm the best at shading. So that's what I'm best at, is I'm the best at shading. Okay, so you have to answer that too. Like, let's talk about art. Like what do you like to do in art, like regarding your style, like the shading, the lining, coloring, black and white?
I definitely like to use more lines in my art, especially in my tattoos that I have done so far. I feel more confident in my line work and my lettering, stuff that doesn't require shading whatsoever. Yeah.
Yeah, and she does do that a lot too. Actually, we can magically, if I do this, this is going to be my, it's going to be my Darth Vader hand. What we can magically do is I'll get a book here in like a few seconds of Fel's work. It'll magically appear. I don't know exactly how, but I'm just going to use my force. Just give me a second. So we're going to do this, and then a book will appear.
Oh,
and you guys can see some of her work if you haven't seen it already. It's pretty exciting, actually, to be honest.
Keys are
It's
in my car.
Oh. So it's farther than I thought, but just give me a second, and
The keys are underneath.
this will work.
Yeah.
I promise.
And it's in the back seat. Thank you, Yoda.
Pay no attention to the wizard behind the curtain. This was
It's Yoda.
This is all just a setup so that you don't know I have an actual death grip magic hand that can summon things. But I'm going to summon something here really quickly. So Ashley's on here. Hello, Ashley. Amanda saying from Fresno. Heck yes, you are. Who isn't? That's on here at least. I have no idea how to say this name, so I don't want to botch it. But let's go ahead and try. Dembria?
Dembria.
Dambria. That's really cool. That's a cool name. So you are from Oakhurst. Nice. We got some.
And the force is coming back to you. And the force is coming back to you. Whoa.
Almost. Oh, I did it. Here we go. So see how that worked? All you do is, you guys, if you. Oh, never mind. It's a superpower only I have. But I summon and it works, and that's all great and dandy. So we're going to show you really quick some artwork from Felicia here, and you guys can see some of the stuff she likes to do just for shits and giggles. Mom is on here, so hello, Mom, and I am excited that you're watching from probably your couch at home on the big screen. So this is your son coming all the way from Clovis, California, saying, "What's up, Mama?" Okay, or I should say, "I'm sorry, Mama." Anyway, so yeah, we're going to show you some Fel's work, and this is the type of stuff that she likes to do, since that was the question.
It's kind of hard to tell.
Here, let's do this. I got long arms. Ready for this? Look at that. That's awesome. Wait, what's my favorite page? Let's show my favorite page.
Oh, this one.
Here we go. We're going to show you guys there we go. So, namely your left side, but either way, those are just awesome. So this is some of Fel's work, and tell me about it. Like, this is what you enjoy, right?
Yeah. I honestly, this stuff comes really easy to me. And I can spend hours doing it. Like, I don't have a hard time, like, spending, like, 3 to 4 hours on these
awesome,
pieces.
the mushroom chick.
Oh, yeah.
Super cool. If you guys want to see any of her work and her art, you guys are going to have to come in and check it out. So bring cash and come and check out Fel's work. So
maybe we'll get one of those slot machines where it's like you get what you get and you don't throw a fit, but it's just with Fel's design. So, like, you know it's going to be good.
A Fel machine.
You know?
Whatever Fel's out.
Yeah.
Yep, that's right. That's pretty cool. So, yeah, Carson is saying he loves the black work style. So that's pretty cool.
Me too.
I dig it too. Do you see Minna's response?
Man, me, I work there.
Yeah, so Minna's on here and she's being silly and she thinks that just because I ban her that she can still work here. But Minna, what you don't know is that if I ban you, there's going to be a weird force, a little energy shift in here, and it'll be like trying to walk into church after sinning. You're just going to hit a brick wall. You're just not going to know where it came from. So anyway, Lisa is saying she's coming home from Fresno. Going home to Kerman from Fresno.
Oh.
So if you guys are on here, let us know
safe?
where you're watching from. I did it right. Did it. So where you're watching from, and if you guys have any questions, ask them here. And never forget to bring cash. So let's go to the next question.
Wait, you didn't ask me.
No, I didn't ask you. I'm screwing up. This is how it goes, guys. This is why I need Fel here so bad.
So you're gonna ask me.
That's
that
right.
One.
Okay, so I answered. I got the magic wand.
Yeah.
It's so cool. Somebody made this for me. So if you guys haven't seen it before, it's our magic wand. Since we don't have any stones today, well, technically we do.
It was a girl that came in.
So let's
today.
see here. The next question is from Jenaboo.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's fun. Jenaboo, thanks for asking the question. This is from Instagram. Can you cover up a cover up? Yeah, so you get to answer that one.
Can I, an apprentice, cover up a cover up? bring cash.
Bring cash. Yeah, it's going to be our
Bring
answer.
more cash.
Bring a lot of cash.
Than you were going to.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Right. There's a good point to that too, because it's way harder. It's not like we're starting fresh and we can just do something on the fly. We have to decide what it is you want. It's like a whole tattoo session plus trying to also overcome the obstacle of making it work with what you already have. So it's another obstacle. And if it's a cover up already, meaning it's already been done once, now you're going to do it twice. So it's even more critical that you do it. Well, it's critical you do it correctly the first time. So just come to us and don't go to anybody else. Come to the best, yours truly, and bring cash, and you won't have this problem. So that preemptively solves most of your problems.
Yes, it very well can be done. There's unless the artist doesn't severely overwork the skin to where it can't be covered up sooner than you'd hope for it, you can almost always get a cover up unless it's all black already.
Yeah, it's a lot of people think that if something's dark, then we're going to cover it with light, and maybe contrary to what some people believe, I actually don't think it's a good idea. I think if you have something dark, you want to cover it with something dark. There's kind of two big parts to covering things up, which is camouflaging the image within another image, as well as making sure that whatever image you put over it is saturated and tattooed really well as best as possible, so that it's bold enough to cover what's there.
I think it's time for us to introduce our special guest
I think
because
you're absolutely
she
right.
has a answer for this question.
This is perfect. So, guys, we're going to introduce a very special guest, somebody who's never been on a live before, and we're really excited to bring her on. The only thing she's missing is something to drink, but that's okay. If she wants some of ours, she can share. Oh, she has prepared herself. So, this is our special guest. If you guys didn't know, this is Black. Okay, so here comes our special guest, and we're going to welcome her, guys. You guys can say hello.
Oh,
That's right. Wait, we should do the DJ horn. This is we're doing it. We are doing it. So if you guys don't know who this is Samurai. So she's an apprentice here at the shop.
Hello.
She's badass. She's
Oh my
a
God,
great
this is
artist.
Great. I
You know
love
what
this.
we didn't do?
Huh?
Your art. Wait, what do you have? You ever drawn? Oh, I have it right here. I so could summon it myself. I'm going to so summon it. So why don't you introduce yourself and tell everybody who you are, what you do
Okay.
here.
Hi, I'm Sam.
Hi, I'm Sam.
I'm just helping with the live today because,
She's running it.
yeah, just
I think
because
this
I wanted to be
kind
on
of
camera.
will pick her up. Like if you guys kind of want to share that one, and this one kind of helps too. So
Okay,
I
perfect.
don't have to worry too much about, as long as you're close enough to it. So yeah, Sam's a badass artist. I just brought something. I think I've shared this actually live before, but I fucking
Yeah.
love this image. It's just super super cool. Let's get it as close
Yeah,
as we
that
can.
one's my fun one.
Yeah, so that's, and I won't do it, of course, because it likes our faces. But anyway, this is Samster's work, and that's some of the stuff she does with pencil.
You're smart.
And yeah, so she's a
Hi.
shop assistant slash apprentice slash future badass tattoo artist. She's actually already tattooed here before, so that's pretty exciting.
Show him.
I totally can't.
You could show him.
Wait, this one?
Yeah.
I was thinking my ankle.
Yeah, no,
first one you
no,
did?
no, the other one.
So I'll do my best. It is brand new, and I've gotten a lot of it done. I'm showing my.
Don't show the nipple.
I won't. Oh, it looks so dark and so black. But anyway, this is a line work I got yesterday. This is work that she did the day before.
That was my first time blacking out, and it was very long. It took a long time.
Yeah, but you were like really meticulous.
Thanks. You were like, I could have done this in 20 minutes. I was like, okay, that's great.
No, the only reason I said that, I wasn't bragging. I was saying it to give you like kind of a idea of like what you can expect of yourself. Like if you're like,
Yeah.
am I taking too long? Am I not taking long enough? Because if I could say like, this is a 3-hour tattoo, then you think, oh, if I take 4, that's not unreasonable.
Yeah.
But if I say this is a hour tattoo and you take 4 hours, you have to know like, okay, maybe I was moving too slow.
How would you even do it faster? That's something
It's
that I want.
efficiency. It's all about efficiency. So live training, guys. You're gonna have to pay for this. Drop $10 in the chats, and
Bring
you guys can
cash,
listen. Yeah, bring cash.
please.
So what it is, when it comes to the efficiency, is making sure your station is set up so that you're not wasting a bunch of time. Because let's say your tattoo's here, the image of what you're doing is here, and your station's back here.
Okay.
And say you don't have that organized, and you're sitting here looking at the image. Say it's on your desk instead of where it should be, and then your station's over here, and then you're having to turn and now reorient back to the tattoo. You're
Too much.
It's so.
It's too much.
It's way too much, especially because it's high focus stuff. Like you get really intense when you start tattooing.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. I was like not
Like, in the
screwing
zone.
with anybody.
Yeah.
I was like, I love you guys, but don't talk to me. Like, leave
Right.
me alone.
100%. And for a long time, and maybe forever, you'll be like that. A lot of people stay that way.
Yeah, I think I would have been fine just putting my headphones in and zoning out.
Yeah, that's usually what like I'll do, or like I'll
Yeah.
put on like the music, like I'll
get you
just
as close
like
as
blast this
possible.
speaker.
But you know, thanks. But you know, I honestly I felt bad though, but not really. But I feel like when I do start tattooing, I'm gonna do that to a lot of people. Like I'm gonna be like, please
know.
don't talk to me. Like
It's-
I don't want to.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a personal, sort of preference for the artist. A lot of people get tattooed by me, and I talk everybody's ear off. But a lot of people do like when somebody communicates with them, takes their mind off the tattoo. But a lot of artists, when they get into the zone, they really kind of, they get lost in it. So they're not always communicating and, I would say, conversing so
I think that's
heavily.
okay. Like when you get in that zone, like you don't really want
And
You're-
most clients understand.
to. Yeah.
Oh, of course. Yeah, I don't think anybody's like, God, she was rude. She didn't say a word. It's like,
Yeah.
well, did the tattoo come out good or not?
Yeah, exactly.
You know.
And I'll chop it up before the tattoo, but.
And I could
Yeah.
tell too when you were tattooing, like you were really focused, but you were into it, and that's really relieving too because you weren't like scatterbrained, you weren't like easily distracted. You were like so into it that means you're going to pay a lot of attention to all your details and learn quickly. Just like your art, it's the same thing. It's highly detailed and meticulous, so you're going to be the same way with your work. So in the
I hope
future,
so. That's the
guaranteed.
goal.
It's the way your artistic brain operates. So you're going to bring that into your tattooing, and people are going to love that for sure. It's exciting.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Wait, I wanted to answer the question.
yeah, go ahead.
Okay, can you cover up a cover up? Okay. I think if you cover up a cover up, it just depends on what it looks like. But honestly, I feel like you can because you could put white on black.
You can. You can. I mean, you can technically put anything over anything. Doesn't mean it's going to necessarily look good. So
Yeah,
you
it's
can.
creativity, huh?
But if you have 2 layers of black already as 2 layers of cover up.
That's too many layers.
Yeah, because you got to think you have the
Too
original
much sauce.
tattoo,
Too much sauce.
and then you have a cover up, and then you covered that up. So that's 3 tattoos in one packed area.
That's just too much.
Yeah, it's too much.
It's too much.
It's way too much.
I thought about doing that with this one, like adding some white into this one, and I tried doing it myself. I'm like,
Where'd
Yeah,
you add the
it-
white?
It doesn't necessarily work how people think it would. That's for sure.
Oh.
it doesn't work.
White is like
I
like
thought
it's
it would.
white for a little bit and then it turns to looking like a scar, huh?
And you
Yeah,
only have so
it
much
does.
time to pack in the white before it starts breaking the skin. You
Really?
know? Like,
White isn't the most friendly pigment, that's for sure, to use tattooing. And it doesn't like to heal as good. You really got to saturate it, so it takes a lot of damage. But it's also it's really meant to just be a highlight. It's not necessarily meant to be the tattoo. Well, I
it's
shouldn't
gonna
say it meant
suck
to
for
be, but
Peaches when she does mine.
Yeah, well,
that's really gonna suck for her.
you'll have to get what you get. So
I
let's
want
make
all white
sure. I'm gonna
tattoo.
make sure I'm not skipping
But,
anybody
like,
on here.
on my whole body, it's gonna be
Fel, have you
great.
seen any questions that popped up before? I don't want to like
I
skip
don't
people.
think so. Or yeah, somebody asked or Amanda asked who specializes in lettering at High Sierra Tattoo.
OMG, okay. Sorry. I really want to. Like, I think cursive or, like, all that, I'm going to start practicing that. Because I genuinely want to do lettering for some weird
Thank God.
It's
Thank
fun.
God.
yeah,
It's
because,
fun.
Go
dude,
ahead.
I just
Can
think
I'm gonna
it's
retire.
So beautiful.
I'm gonna retire on camera right now. Yes. I've been waiting for this day. See you guys.
We got you. We'll take care of the shop.
Yes,
Yeah.
this is
We're
awesome.
good.
We
This
can
is
totally
awesome.
run this.
Your art's beautiful, by the way.
So is
Like,
yours.
your art is, like, so, it's, like, so, what's the right, not cleansing, like, aesthetically pleasing.
Aw, thank you.
Yes, like, yes,
Very true.
I love it.
It is. It's like when you look at it, it's so satisfying.
Yeah.
Because it's so complete and
Perfect.
fine lined. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
That it's
perfect.
like, oh, I got it.
And
It's
your
not
lines and your tattoos are perfect too. So like,
Thank you.
rocking and rolling.
you're rocking and
But I
rolling.
do need to start practicing my shading.
Same.
You guys see what's happening here? You guys see this? That's right. It's a love affair with tattoos.
Yeah.
So, D'Ambria, if I'm saying that right, if I'm saying it wrong, help me out
I
here.
think I'm almost.
What about UV tattoos? She's asking on here.
OMG.
I've heard a lot of questions about this one.
Me
Where do you
too.
even get the ink?
I mean, you can buy it. I don't think it's as popular anymore because it doesn't work the way people expect it to.
It only
and-
lasts for like 3 months, huh?
Yeah, I think it's I don't know why. I've always kind of looked at it as like a sort of, it seems like a party favor for
Yeah.
tattooing. It's like something, it's like a cool stamp that's invisible at a club so it doesn't look bad on your wrist, or if it smears on your clothes, it's still invisible.
It's for funsies.
Yeah, it's for fun, but it's not something I get into. I think it's, I've never really seen one, to be honest. I've seen a black light tattoo react, but I just never like the idea of something that reacts. Like, I don't know, I just don't like the idea of putting something in somebody's skin permanently
Yeah, now that
that's
I
supposed to
think about
react.
It. Yeah.
It's like, oh, does this glow in my skin? That's maybe... I know that's probably a really sort of dumb way of seeing it, but that's kind of my opinion.
No,
It just
I
seems-
feel like that's a really good thing.
Yeah.
People have been putting their like chips for their card and SIM
Yeah.
chips inside their skin, like.
Yeah,
And I'm
that's-
sorry,
those
but
days are coming. That's
Yeah,
for sure.
and people like myself, I just react weirdly to red ink in itself, and I know a couple other people that have weird reactions
Mhm.
to specifically red
sure.
ink. So to
Right.
think
I
about
remember you saying
something that reacts inside your skin, that's
Exactly.
scary.
Does anybody on here, and
burning.
Carson is kind of cheating because he has already a foot in the door, but does anybody on here watching know why red ink, what red pigments in tattooing, or just pigments that are red in general, why they would have a high level of, high amount of cases of allergic reactions for people? I know the answer, but it would be kind of fun to see if you guys what you come up with. Maybe you could come up with a theory of it, or just tell us if you actually know the answer. No Googling it, guys. It's just not the same. You guys got to answer on here. If you guys just jumped on, remember, was it you on our live that I was doing this like all day long? Now it's like sunk into my brain. If you guys just jumped on, comment on here. We will ban you forever. If you do not, we're going to block you from all your social medias. If you're watching and you don't tell us where you're from and ask a tattoo or similar related question, we will literally ruin your life digitally. So don't do that. You guys want to live, and you want to live long and prosper. So ask questions. And we're going to go ahead and look through here and see if there's anything we missed or anything like that. So I'm looking through some of the questions for you guys. Let's take a look here. So, by the way, guys, all of you on here, we appreciate you guys on here and joining. I'm not going to really ban you, but I guess if we wanted to, we technically could from the live, but we won't. We don't really care. So we appreciate your questions. We guys like your responses and engagement, so we thank you for that. So now we have... We have Mimi on here.
Mimi.
That's right. Mimi. So she loves my excellence here. She's like, "Dang, Josh." I think it's like a "Dang, Josh."
Kinkles.
Jesus, she knows. They know. She knows. She knows. But I think that's what that means. She's like a "Dang, Josh." Like, he's doing so good.
I think that's exactly what it is actually. Yeah.
Okay, Carson a few minutes ago had a statement on here, not necessarily a question, but we can respond to this. He said, I have trouble concentrating too sometimes when people are having long conversations. Throwing on some music and just going at it is wonderful. So you guys obviously attest to that and agree. And I agree time to time as well. If there's a tattoo that I'm doing that's like just insanely detailed and complicated, I love having the music up a little higher and just getting into it. If I'm doing portraiture and paying attention to every detail, I'm definitely not going into some philosophical conversation, that's for sure.
Okay, remember that one time? I think it was like the first couple tattoos that you were doing that I was here. With the, what's his name? It was the portrait of his mom.
Oh, yes.
And we were
We're
chopping
talking
it
about
up.
Gomez.
Yeah,
Gomez is cool.
We were chopping it up, like, and we had a good conversation, like, going, like, we had a really good conversation going. And then the next day you were like, and the tattoo was whatever. But it came out freaking beautiful.
Okay, Gomez, because he watches these. I didn't necessarily think like it's whatever. I just
I'm
I
sorry.
know. I just know she's throwing me on the bus. It's totally fine. This is real. It's live.
Sorry.
Totally cool. But it wasn't that I was whatever. I'm obviously as an artist I'm critical. Just to backpedal a little, but also to explain because this is important. There are times where we're not satisfied with our work and we wish it could be better. Gomez knows why, especially when he keeps getting so dark and tan. Man, stay out of that sun. It's not helping your portraits. But other than that, he knows too because I've talked to him about it. Like when I did his mom's portrait, his mom and grandma's portrait came out so good.
Yeah.
And then the ones on the outside of his leg where he gets a lot more sun, it's just there's not much for me to work with in terms of like the sort of scale that I can reach.
Yeah.
And so it's just like, man, I know I can get more out of him, but I have to wait till winter. Because I did.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen his whole chest that I did? Mm-hmm. It's his whole chest, and it's like immense amount of detail.
Oh yeah.
Like, just insane. And I know I can achieve that on him. So when he gets to coaching in the summertime, he just gets dark as shit, and I can't achieve the same sort of results.
Well, I felt really bad because I thought like our conversation was what distracted you or something.
No, not at all. He gets really red too. You know, that's an issue.
Gomez, it's your fault.
Yeah, Gomez, it's double your fault for getting red and for being dark. That sounds bad. For being dark, you dark son of a. So, all right, Mima's still on her. I knew she would be. I didn't doubt her at all. So she, before we get to her stuff here, let's go ahead and take a look. So Dambria is saying, Dambria is how you pronounce it. So I definitely
Damn, Bria.
Damn, Bria. So I think we got that right. And Natalie is saying red dye number 9. I don't know a whole lot about red dye number 9, but yes, that is something a lot of people don't like in their bodies, dyes and foods and stuff. But the basics of it is, especially when it comes to reds, there's a lot of metals to make that color. You can imagine in nature, to get red, it's rust, it's metals, and oxidization. So those are something that certain metals and certain materials people react to a lot. So that's one of the reasons why red is such an issue. And of course, any dyes are no bueno, especially on your body and in your body. There's a lot of issues with those. They were actually trying for a while, or at least threatening. There was a campaign to threaten using color tattoo ink. So for a long time, they were like trying to ban it because they were in the cosmetic industry. They were finding blue dyes. They were trying to ban blue because blue dyes were being found in people's scalps and in their skulls from hair dye. And because that's a permanent effect, not a semi-permanent effect, we can't use those types of products. And so they were trying to ban it, and that would have really sucked for our industry to like ban certain colors because I mean it would change. People wouldn't listen anyway, so it wouldn't work.
Yeah.
But I get where they're going with it. It's just one of those things. That
because blue's beautiful.
And
like,
we can't really
too
do
pretty.
There's so many things we need blue for.
Yeah.
Like, so many things you're not going
Blue's
to
like
do away
under
with.
skin tone too.
So let's see here. Mimi is asking a question. So at this point, since I'll read them, I'll just let you guys answer any of the ones that are on here, and then we'll go back and forth when you get to the ones from the Instagrams. So Mimi is asking, could you list all of your styles of work?
Sorry, let me rephrase that. All of the artists in the shop styles of work. So I would say mine is more so line work and heavy black drawings. Yeah. What about
What
you?
would that be called? What are like styles?
It's traditional. It's traditional. It's bold lines, but it's not
traditional.
But it's not American traditional tattooing style. But it's definitely a traditional style of drawing. There's probably a better name for it, but I definitely would just consider it more traditional because it's that bold
traditional
line.
is throwing it like, not throwing it under the bus, but like it's like not giving it what it is. Like I feel like it's more than that.
Well, it's fine line work too.
Fine
so
line, yeah.
it definitely goes between that. Like yours isn't fine line work, and it's definitely not traditional, right? So what happens is when there's categories, things start to like gravitate towards it, like magnetically. It's like, oh, that kind of fits here.
Yeah.
It's not like we're saying that's where it belongs and that's the only place. It's kind of like you ever go to look for music. I don't even know if people do that anymore, like go look for albums and records and shit, but maybe they do. And then you find something in a place, you're like, what? This? But where else do you put it? Like, where do you put Cyndi Lauper? Or if you don't know who that is, she's kind of like, I always thought she was a punk rocker, but then she's put like in pop rock, and that kind of made sense. But then you put her in like, yeah, Goonie Love. Like that's it exactly. Miss Sam here didn't like the Goonies.
I didn't.
I cannot believe that.
I
What
don't
a
feel
sin.
bad about it.
What
I don't
a
feel bad
sin.
about
She
it. It was
doesn't.
just
You never wanted a friendship like the Goonies?
No, I'm sorry,
She didn't
but
like it.
no, the
She didn't
friendship
like
was
it.
cool. The friendship, I was like all down for the friendship, but the story wasn't it for me.
Wow, that is intense.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
to all their-
Yeah, I do want to
to
know
check
like
in.
where the shots came from and like what like I wish they would have shown that fight beforehand. Like
Yeah, like different. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
There are some stuff that leaves you hanging, but what a great film. I'm just gonna go
It
ahead
just
and
made me
say that.
feel weird.
So, yes, styles of work. Sam, what would be your style of work?
I would say I'm aiming for realism, like
Okay.
like fantasy realism,
Yes.
fantasy art realism, pretty much.
Yeah, you definitely have more of like a fine art fantasy sort of vibe to you. Definitely.
Yeah, like tell me to draw you a snake with 7 heads and 1 tooth that spits out love.
And to do so, bring cash. Bring cash. Sam, for the first time ever, on camera, you get to say it. What is the secret to getting that drawn by Sam?
Bring cash.
Bring cash. That's right. Okay, let's go ahead and keep going down here. Susan is also asking a question. When you first started tattooing, are there other ways to practice besides on human skin? This is an exciting question because things have changed, but this is definitely a exciting question. Do you guys want to answer that, or would you like me to start?
Yes, I will definitely.
Okay.
And
Sam,
only
go ahead.
because I've been working on fake skin, like, not forever, but, like, for a minute now. Like, just fake skin. And then you could use oranges, too. Lemons.
You can definitely use fruit. Fruit is very easy to tattoo on, so it's not a lot like skin. But fake skin, explain what that is. for
Okay,
people who
fake
might not know.
skin, you know, I think it's just rubber. I don't know really what it is.
It's like a rubbery silicone material that looks like the tone of skin. It could be like in a flat kind of sheet that's maybe thick enough to tattoo, or it can be in the shape of like body parts. People sell hands and arms for you to practice on feet.
Don't you have a big old hand?
Yeah, I have a big old hand, like a silicone hand at home, and that one I could bring in and use.
Right. Yeah. So there's definitely a lot of good
a
options
ham?
now. Do you guys know what like the old options were, like back in the day, what people used?
No.
No? So people would use pig skin, like pieces of pig meat, and they would let it thaw out from the freezer, and they would tattoo it. But the thing is, you didn't have long until it started to stink, so you had to like practice on it and throw it away. It wasn't as common as I thought it would have been even when I was tattooing, but definitely people have done that, like on meat or fake skin, or animal skin. And
Makes
obviously
sense.
it's not a live pig, just disclaimer. You're not tattooing on live animals, although that's a form of marking things permanently for surgeries and for identification in a non like cruel way. But the pig skin was something people used for a long time because it's about as close to human skin as you can get. It's just there's obviously the issue of decay that's
Yeah, 'cause-
not fun to deal with.
Yeah.
Because even
no.
somebody in here one time was tattooing and getting really good at like drawing on fruit, and she kept a lot of the fruit, and after like a couple weeks I found it in the back and there was like fruit flies everywhere.
Yeah.
So even then there's going to be a bit of an issue. So there's definitely quite a few options for tattooing and other ways. I'll tell you how I did it, which is not something I've ever heard anybody recommend or say. I just didn't have any other resources. Since my mom's actually the one who asked this question, I will just tell you I started doing it in my bedroom. Thank goodness I didn't tattoo myself at that time. Well, anyway, I didn't tattoo myself back then when you told me not to. But anyway, I used cardboard
my grandma.
because it wouldn't bend the needles, and I would just practice with it just to see what would happen. And
Like a
cardboard
grandma.
definitely worked. It just wasn't. Nothing simulates skin, obviously, like skin. I mean, it's wouldn't you say that? It's totally different.
Yeah, no, it's 100% different. Like fake skin, she's not it.
Yeah, it's like
She just
it's like a video
got
game compared to like driving and playing a video game racing. It's just not the same.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. So how hard is it to tattoo over freckles, like on shoulders? That's actually a good question.
Freckles on like a shoulder.
Yeah, because it surprisingly does pose issues. Usually people with freckles are lighter skinned, and so lighter skin you would think that the tattoo is going to come out great, but you'd be surprised that typically people with freckles, I don't know the technicalities. I've just noticed through tattooing that people with freckles, even though they're light, will still kind of be hard to get colors and even blacks, like real rich saturated colors, to stick to their skin. And maybe that's something to do with pigmentation or skin types, but it seems like
Yeah.
people with freckles, especially heavy freckles, or like redheaded people with lots of freckles, it's very difficult, especially in the upper body where the freckles exist heavily. Maybe on like legs and thighs and inner arms it's not as bad, but that is definitely a consideration we have to take in when placing a tattoo or a certain style in a certain area for somebody with them. And unlike moles, you can go over freckles if it's just a freckle. If it's not like a mole or a beauty mark or any of those things, you cannot go over those, so that's always a bad idea.
Yeah. You can't go over moles.
You don't want to go over moles. It can cause issues with overpigmentation where the mole reacts, and it can cause it to be
Cancerous?
Yeah, the
Yeah.
big bad word. So that can be an issue. You don't want to go over them for many reasons. It can go malignant. You don't want to disturb them.
Yeah.
Right?
Just let them be.
Yeah.
What if they get bigger?
If the mole gets bigger,
Yeah.
well, at least you haven't damaged it. You're not the one who messed with it. So like moles can pop up and maybe even under the tattoo that's previous, but I don't think that's the concern. I think it's the concern with like getting into something that's already there and damage it, because they'll also bleed. Like I've gone over people's moles before that couldn't really see, and I wasn't really noticing it, and then they just leak. You go over it, and all of a sudden that thing, you just got to keep wiping it for like 5 minutes until it's done.
Yeah.
So that could be actually a pretty big issue.
Yeah.
So Rochelle's on here saying hello. Hello, Rochelle.
Hello, Rochelle.
All right, guys, we got a couple more questions. So for these, I think the wand is, let's just pass. Let's go to Fel. Fel's got to ask some questions. I think that was the last one we asked. So the bottom left one we can rock and roll with.
Do you or are you going to have the apprentices also learn on a traditional machine?
Fun question for some people. So it seems to me, I'll answer that really simply. It seems to me that with the way the industry is going and the technology that's coming out, eventually machines like that will be, you're either going to be hardcore against it or you're going to be hardcore for it. And there's not going to be a whole lot of middle ground for most artists. They're going to pick one or the other because it's a bit of an ecosystem. If you guys are listening, you have, like a more rotary sort of pen style machine with cartridges. So it gets a little complex. But then you have the old traditional machines that buzz and scream in your ear. They sound like really loud doorbells. the ecosystem to operate those are so, for the most part, very different. So if you're going to go with one, you're typically going to stick with it. It's kind of hard to cross over, especially for me. I like simplicity and efficiency. So if I find something I like, I just stick with it. And it seems like the newer machines, especially with people learning today, they're just so much easier that I think most people are going to lean towards them. And I definitely think learning about anything historical is important anytime you're learning anything. And one thing I will say is to really understand a tattoo machine correctly and know what it's doing, I really think that understanding the traditional coil machines that buzz and scream in your ear that you're mostly used to, and the old sound of a tattoo shop when you walk by, the buzzing, that's like the best way to understand what the needle's doing and how it's creating the tattoo. And there's a lot more to it than just poking the skin with a needle and making it look cool. The machine itself has a lot to it. So
have you ever tattooed with a traditional machine?
I have not, but
How about you, Sam?
I have.
You have?
Yeah, when I first started tattooing, the guy that I was tattooing with, he had a traditional machine, and I'm not gonna lie, it's annoying because you have to kind of get your hand adjusted to it.
It's very different.
Yeah, but it wasn't bad. It wasn't horrible. I'd much
Some of
rather
the
use.
best tattoos I've ever done were on coil machines, even to date. Like some of the best ones I've ever done, I used coils. They're just a totally different beast, and they're definitely more active. Like they're very much more alive.
Really?
Yes, absolutely. Especially if you're going to pull big lines, do a lot of big shading, or you want some sort of specific
You should learn
effect.
how to do it then.
They're fun. Like you'll notice that, like if you get used to one way with a pen machine or rotary, and then you use a traditional machine, we're calling them traditional. They're coils. We've been using them our whole lives, but I guess they are kind of not getting outdated. They're just getting bumped down a little and having alternative options to the buzzing machine. So you'll like it for certain reasons. Like you'll try it and go like, damn. Like if I had a big lining job, if I wanted to line someone's back, I would want to use coil because I can go to town with that thing and just lay some shit down. Whereas the rotary might not give me that effect that I want. Plus, you can adjust the rotary without getting your tools out. You can absolutely by hand adjust the coil. So that
I
makes
think
a
I'm gonna
difference.
have to get a coil for sure.
Definitely.
Yeah.
And it's fun. For me, it's fun to learn the not just the history, but the mechanics of it. And Phil, you were going to say something about coils too?
Oh, it's on my bucket list to learn, or at least do one tattoo.
Yeah.
To
That's
figure the
good.
machine
Yeah.
out.
Yeah.
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 That's actually a good
Or at least
question.
like do it like feel like comfortable doing a like
Yeah.
at least one tattoo. And like
Yeah.
have to come
Yeah.
out like good.
Especially since lining's your thing.
Yeah.
If a lot of this is kind of sounding like mumbo jumbo to you guys watching, just imagine coil machines are a lot like a vehicle with a real engine, with a gas engine. And when it comes to rotary machines, it's more like an electronic car, right? Where there's no engine, there's not a whole lot of sound. So the difference between electronic cars and fuel injected cars or carbureted cars, naturally aspirated cars, then there's going to be a huge difference between those two. That's kind of what we're talking about in terms of machines. There's huge differences between these two, and it's a very good comparison, so you can understand kind of what we're talking about back and forth. So,
Okay. Have your kids ever expressed any interest in being a tattoo artist?
have your kids. So that's, I guess, only going to be directed towards
Yeah, I
me.
was gonna say me and you really don't.
Yes,
have nothing to
my
say.
kids definitely they love to.
Sorry.
my children.
That's okay. You go. You
My
okay?
shop children.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
So my kids have expressed a lot of interest when they were younger. Kind of fun little story is that they would, instead of play like house or weird stuff like that, they would play tattoo shop.
Oh.
So it was super cool.
That's cute.
My son would put a bandana on and put fake tattoos on his sisters, and it was just super cool. And they would fake and draw. And I had a couple machines, old ones, and I put like pens in them instead of needles, and they would draw. And
I've
Oh my
always
gosh,
yes.
that's so
I've-
cute.
Can you do that for us?
yeah,
Yeah, because
absolutely.
I've always
Something you wanna
wanted to
draw.
do. Yes.
yeah, that'll work.
Yeah.
So we can definitely do that. Yes, children, we can. But yeah, that was something that they were interested in until I think when your parents do it, it's not cool. Just to be honest, I think there's a period in your time where if your parents are into it, you're not. But I believe they'll come back to it, and I think it will be important to them as they get a little older. Right now, they're in a certain sort of teen years where it's not. They don't want to do what I do. They want to do they want to discover themselves, and that's what's going on there. But my daughter has tattooed a few times.
Oh really?
So it was really freaking awesome because she's so good at everything. And she sat down and tattooed somebody, and I was like super impressed. And then one time it was Sheldon. He was in here getting tattooed.
Uh-huh.
And she just tattooed a little black area and just was so confident. Just sat down, got to it, put her gloves on. And what was interesting, especially like teaching people to tattoo, what I noticed is she's seen me do it my whole life.
Yeah.
So I didn't have to tell her like anything. I mean, okay, I'm not saying she was pro, like sat down and got it, but what I'm saying is she knew that you're going to have a rag in her hand. She knew that the machine's going to sit here. She knew that you're going to be oriented to your station a certain way and that you need a light. And that she's seen that her whole life. So for her, it was like natural. I'm like, dude, you're already got a foot in the door, like you.
Like,
so
girl, come on,
if she's ever into
do
it, then that would be cool. I don't necessarily encourage my kids to get into things they don't show interested in yet, but they definitely will have to be skilled and awesome people. So one day maybe that will pop out of them. We never know.
We'll see.
Let me ask you guys that. If you had children, or when, or in the future, let's say, how would you feel about that? Like, what do you think? Like,
Fuck yeah, little dude. Come on to the
Yep.
shop. Let's go.
yep, bring cash.
Bring
kids.
cash.
Bring cash, kids. Yep, mama and papa are hungry. Bring me some food, bring me some money, and we are happy.
My little brother.
I want to be tattooed by my kids.
Yeah.
That'd just be super cool.
Definitely.
Super cool.
Does your little brother want them already?
Yeah, so my little brother this weekend I was babysitting and I had him come with me because the little kid, they're best friends or whatever. And so he was like, they were like all just like hanging out, like just, we were all just hanging out in a little circle. My brother was like, Sam, when are you going to get tattooed? I was like, I don't know. I was like, when I feel comfortable doing it. He was like, can I tattoo you right now? And I was like, yeah. And so I grabbed like the marker and he started drawing all over my legs, like on my, like just,
Yeah.
and he just put like the loser / lover from,
Aw,
yeah,
how
he put
cute.
that on there. It was so cute. He was like, I want to be a tattoo artist one day. I was like, you're gonna be
Aw.
a tattoo artist one day, okay? I was like, and we'll have a shop together and it'll be great.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the coolest things about kids is as when they're kids, their creativity is unbridled.
Mhm.
Their creativity and artistic expression, all kids show this level of like outwards expression, and I don't think that changes until they start to develop certain behaviors, you know, in terms of their characteristics.
Yeah.
Like as they get older, and that's not necessarily a good or bad thing. I always grew up, and people would say, well, I always grew up. I didn't always grow up actually. Just side note. But when I was growing up, there was always a sort of statement made that, oh, it sucks that, you know, kids are so creative and artistic, and as they get older, it just gets like kind of stolen from them, like, you know, taught to sit in a school or sit in a classroom and just
Yeah.
listen. I don't actually think that's true. I think if you have a creative mind, it's a way in which your brain actually functions. Nobody can take that from you. What they can take from you is the years of you not expressing it because they're not encouraging it. But it's
Yeah.
going to come out. Like, what would it take for me to stop you from ever drawing again? Like, how could I? It would be impossible. Like, if I said, Sam, you can never draw again, no matter what.
I like do it sometimes just in habit. Like if I'm just chilling and like there's a pencil right next to me, I'm gonna
Yeah.
draw on something.
It's just part of it's part of who you
Yeah,
are.
like
It wouldn't have mattered if school
or even
encouraged you or not.
in school, like most of my notebook was filled with little pieces of art, just
Right.
like little drawings. They're just like
Yeah.
little fun things.
Mhm.
And I have this thing when I'm drawing, like sometimes like I don't have like a project or anything, and I just want to like draw something weird. It's really weird. Don't judge me, but like the paper will be in front of me, and I could somehow like some way see like lines on the paper, and like a little thing in my head will say like, oh, draw right there, like draw right there, and like I've had a lot of really cool pieces like come out like that.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, so like I think it's just some people that just have it.
I think
creatively.
it's true. I think some people are very literal. Some people are very imaginative. It's the best way I've ever heard it said. I watched an interview once with a doctor, a clinical psychologist, and a professor at an art school. And the professor was asking this clinical psychologist all kinds of like very complicated questions about what he knows about the brain and how to like elicit creativity, how to make artists, how to like cultivate art. And one of the things that, in a nutshell, they come up with was saying that like if somebody's not creative and artistic, you're not going to make them creative, and vice versa.
Yeah.
It would be like me. I'm very introverted. I'm just not interested in big crowds of people. I don't feel energized by being at concerts. So somebody else might be completely opposite.
Yeah.
And you're not going to change that. People think, oh, that's wrong or that's not good or you should try it. Well, it's just a lot of times it's a matter of how your psyche works, and art is the same way. You can say, and he broke it down. The psychologist broke it down into, or the psychiatrist, I think it was, anyway, the doctor. He said that you have an imaginative brain and you have a literal brain. And you can use both. They talk to each other. They don't necessarily talk to each other specifically, but you can use both sides. But some people are more dominant on one side or the other. And if you try to talk to a highly literal person about imaginative stuff, they get frustrated.
Yeah.
And vice versa. Have you ever
Yeah.
tried to talk to somebody about a design that's, you'll notice that there's like this level of them like being like, I don't know, you do it.
Can't
Just you take
understand it, yeah.
Like you do, I just want art. That's what I do know. It's very literal. I want art. You do your thing. They're not an imaginative person.
Yeah.
Right? And so they'll actually get frustrated if you try to bring them into your artistic flow. So you almost have to go, okay, cool, I got this.
Yeah,
And sometimes they're the hardest people to work with too.
because they're
Well, because then you show them something, they're like, no, I want to change that. And it's like,
Yep.
well, that's why I was asking you. But it's just a hurdle. You have to learn how to deal with certain characteristics with people. But it is really cool especially when, well, we got off topic, but when you see kids getting into that, it's really cool. And if my kids ever come back to it, I definitely want them to tattoo me. So if they ever see this, guys, tattoo me.
What are our hours and days of operation?
Sam, when are you here?
If you ever need a consultation for Mr. Farmer, I'm here from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. on Mondays through Fridays. So you could come in and get a consultation. We could go ahead and schedule you an appointment and get you in for next year because he is sadly booked out for a year.
Yes,
But sadly for you, but
March.
great for him.
Yeah, it's good. It's good for me, but it's also good for you because now you know that there's a lot of people who voted with their dollar and time and patience that you're going to get something great because you are messing with the best. So,
But usually the hours are from 10 to like 5, 6, 7. It just depends on who's tattooing for the day, or if
Right.
Josh has like a big piece or something.
yeah.
But how long are you here for usually?
1 to 7.
Yeah,
Does
so if
it-
you guys want a consultation,
Or Monday through Thursday. Yeah.
if you guys want to come talk to the girls about a consultation and set something up, the best way to do it is in person, right? Like we built this place for a reason, so you guys can come in. We don't use a phone number for you guys watching. There's people who've said, "Hey, I tried calling and nobody answered." Well, we don't have a phone. It's not that I want to be bothered. I just so far we don't have a phone. I'd rather you come in person or email us, and we do our best to get back to everybody. We are
We
just.
need a phone.
We are going to get one. We're eventually going to get one, but for now, you guys watching, as to date, we don't have a phone. So just come in. It's the best way to do it. This is an art process. It's really hard to make it hey, my car is fixed. Can I bring it in? Kind of thing.
Yeah.
This is you want to come in and talk to us and get to know us and see, what the process is like.
Yeah, especially like people's personalities too. Like we need to see like your personality, like instead of
Yeah.
like,
And they need to see ours.
Yeah.
Because there might be someone who's like, fuck that motherfucker.
Yeah.
I'm not interested at all.
they're
And
not
that-
fucking with us.
Yeah.
and that does happen. I'm gonna
Yeah.
fix this. So I don't know if you guys know this, but this is actually the front of the mic. So just
Wow.
warning.
Oh,
It's okay. But, I mean, most mics are here, but I get it. It's very confusing. So let's go right here. This is awesome. So my dad's on here, and of course I'm gonna have to bring him on here. So this is my father. You guys can
Hi,
say hello
Father.
if you like. He says, "Hi Josh, hi Hun, hi Rochelle, hi everyone." So we're all watching.
Hi.
Yep, that's awesome. Hi Dad. So hi Dad. We're rocking and rolling.
Is that
If
your
you're,
sister?
yeah, this is my sister right here, Rochelle.
Oh,
So I got my dad, my sister, and
that's so cute.
last time we were on here, my mom's probably still on, but last time, wait, Dad, are you sitting next to Mom? And you're watching it on your phone and she's watching it on hers? I'm just curious. My grandma was on here last time. It was really cool.
That's so
My-
supportive.
my
I
grandma's
remember.
awesome.
I remember.
That was really cool.
You have a really supportive family. That's really cool.
It is. They're
Yeah.
awesome. And my dad is just a fucking rad man, so I'm thankful that he's obviously a huge part of the reason why I'm able to do all these things.
Shout out to you. Thanks for making Josh freaking awesome.
That I think that's a very legitimate statement right there. So Carson's on here, and he's actually saying that pigskin, if you guys caught that part of the conversation a little bit ago, pigskin is still popular, still surprisingly popular. I'm going to put it that way. They will just buy it from the butcher shop. So yeah, it's still a way in which people practice. That was a question that was asked earlier.
Would you tattoo on pigskin? Would you feel comfortable doing that? I wouldn't either.
I don't know. It's just like, why do we like need it? Like I think we should like stop that.
Well, I think it's a way to get as close to possible on the skin, so that like even if you did it like once to like just see, but I'm personally not a big fan of it. I just don't want the mess. The hassle's not worth it to
Yeah,
me.
it's too much.
Yeah, and plus I think if I was doing that, although I think it's like dissecting things in like surgery, like people would use small animals so that they can understand how to use the tools better instead of like fake animals or something, which they also have. Ballistic gels and like things are actually getting better today to where like they have a real likeness to the human, but it's still never quite exactly the
That's
same.
not it though.
Yeah, but I wouldn't sit there for like a year and practice on pigskin. It's like if you used it here or there. But I think there's other options now too that are just a little more economical.
Fake skin's cool. It's honestly just like getting used to the machine, if anything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. I think one of the best things to do is just tattoo. You're gonna. It's surprisingly well, in my opinion, as long as you're not using really tiny needles, it's really hard to hurt people if you're being meticulous, careful, and conscious and sober about what you're doing. and you have a good teacher,
And
I think
sober.
that's the best way to do it. I think that's kind of key to like a lot of these questions. The end, other than brain cash, is also the answer. It's also just having somebody to teach you that knows what they're doing, so that you know if you're making a mistake or not, because it's really hard to tell sometimes. So you definitely need that person with experience. Okay, we probably should get to the. I think we have one more. So this one's for me to ask because
Yeah.
Sam did it.
No, you
We
already.
have two more.
No.
No, I don't remember which one we're at.
No,
we did.
we already did those both. You're on that one.
Okay, cool. So we are here talking to
Jennifer.
Jennifer. So, do you have a favorite body part to tattoo? That's a definite for sure.
You
Yes.
come in.
Yes, you, Jennifer. That is, you are my favorite body part to tattoo, 100%. And anybody else who wants to bring cash. But there's a real answer for sure. It's whatever's easiest. It's really easy to access the forearms, so it's really nice to tattoo it because you can give it to me, put it on my armrest, and I don't have to break my back to get to you. Places that are really difficult, like what Sam had to do for me on my chest the other day. That she's right-handed, so if she has to sit on my left side, then she has to lean over. Like if you see, actually look at her position now. If she was
Yeah.
tattooing this part of my chest, this would be easy because she's
Yeah.
right-handed. But if she's sitting over here, then like she has to lean. Well, I'll show you. I'll just show you for example. If I'm having to sit next to Sam right here and tattoo her, and I'm
Yeah.
right-handed, I have to sit like this,
Mhm.
and this is not comfortable. I could also lay her down, and that helps a ton to get her in a better spot. But it's so cool when you could just do this, and
Do that.
everything works out really well. This is, what position is this? Give blood.
Give blood.
Give blood.
Oh.
It's a give blood position. Yep. So I would say that's my favorite one.
IV.
What about yeah, the IV
The IV.
position. Give me the IV.
That's funny.
Just because that's what they have you do, and that's when
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
insert.
What do you think?
yeah,
What do you guys think? Like, what would be something like with
I
your
haven't touched
experience?
enough skin to
know.
really notice. So I'm gonna say the chest.
Yeah, the chest. Her first tattoo in here, or second.
You know
sorry.
what? The shin is like the most shittiest.
Shiniest.
Shiniest.
It's so
Absolutely
shiny to
shiniest
tattoo.
place to tattoo. That was my first ever tattoo. Was on my annoying sister. I'm just kidding, I love her. But it was divine. The word divine on her
Aw.
shin. It was really small.
Okay.
It was cute, but it was so like, I was like.
Stressful.
I don't know, because I think it's just the way it curves and like
Yeah.
having to make sure like everything's perfect, and I'm really psycho about being perfect when it
Meticulous?
comes. Yeah, meticulous.
Very meticulous.
Yeah, so
No doubt.
it's like it was bugging me, but it was fun. It was cool. It worked out.
Nice.
It came out really good.
Oh,
That's all that matters.
yeah, shiny.
Question for you:
Hmm.
have you ever went too deep in the skin, and then you're like, then you just sit there and you're like this? You're like, I can't take it back.
So I've done that in a coloring piece, actually. I did
Really?
that in my very first coloring color piece. It was Invader Sim.
That
And-
makes sense. Coloring.
And I was packing in gray, and gray was really weird too. I feel like gray is kind of like white in that sense.
Really?
And it was a cover up too.
Oh.
So the skin was already a little beaten up,
Mhm.
and I didn't know, or I didn't think to go a little bit lighter on it, or maybe switch out for a smaller needle and
What
do
did
a
it
little
come
bit
out
lighter work.
as?
It's not
Just
terrible.
I got
So, like,
it.
right here, it does happen though. Like it's really easy to damage the skin if you're not sure what you're doing. The machine's
Yeah.
running wrong. You're using the wrong tools, or in a certain part of the body is really easy, and a certain type of skin. Especially the older the skin gets on the person, obviously if if somebody's over a certain age, the skin's just gonna be easy to tear, and it just causes tons of problems. So that's something you have to sometimes warn them ahead of time and just say, hey, like this is probably gonna maybe create certain effects on you that you may not like.
I'll just let you know.
And some people are like, I don't care. And some people say, okay, thank you for letting me know. Is there somewhere else? And typically there's somewhere else on the body that the skin's a little healthier and less sun damaged and beaten up. So
Yeah.
it's going to be better for
That
you.
makes sense though. So Maddie was my like 5th tattoo that I've ever done. And after it healed, because I thought the tattoo was gonna look, I'm telling you, I didn't really get that much training when I first started, but I thought the tattoo was gonna look exactly how it was when I first did it.
Yeah.
And it didn't. When it healed,
Yeah.
like there was so many,
Totally
I seen
different.
all the bumps and I was like, oh my god, like I shouldn't touch skin ever again. Like why did
It's
I
scary.
do that? Yeah.
It could be scary if you don't know what you're doing for sure.
So this is. You
That's
can't really
like
see
really
it.
good though.
But that was my first ever color piece, and then this one is my second one. Little Scooby right there.
That's hard. That color's hard to fill in. A tan color.
Yeah, you did hella good.
It's actually really hard. Is that healed?
No.
Okay, it's fresh. I was gonna say, because if that's healed, especially, because like she was saying, like you do it at first and then it heals, and you're like, oh.
It
there's no
healed
bunch.
well.
Yeah.
Just the collar didn't heal.
Yeah,
so
that
great,
looks
but-
really good, especially if it's your first color. That's pretty
Yeah,
cool. Can
yeah,
I show
no,
it
it
with my
is really
long
good.
arms?
Mhm.
So this is one your very first color, you said.
Yeah.
It's not really gonna come in because it won't focus on it, but you guys
She
can
did
kinda
that.
see the
That's
colors a
her.
little bit.
That's this girl right here. That's her.
Okay, very cool.
Color's fun, but yeah, hard to pack in and easy to fuck up.
Fuck.
Yeah.
So mom's saying they're watching on the TV.
Mess
So
up.
mom and
Sorry.
dad are in their living
Aw.
room.
You guys
and-
are a very supportive family, and
super
thank
rad.
you for that.
Yeah, they're thanking you for me, mom. So thank you for making me so they can thank you for me.
Thanks.
Natalie's watching on the big screen as well.
Not a lay.
Not a lot.
Sweet.
So yeah.
You guys are like the #1 supporters for Josh, for sure.
Yeah.
Like,
So thank you, mom.
love the support. Natalie,
Uh-oh.
question for
There we
you.
go.
When am I gonna try those cookies?
Oh yeah, Sam never got any.
I didn't get any. I need some because everyone's hyping them up. Oh, and by the way, the peach cobbler thing, bomb.
That's actually yes, that's a
It was
legitimate response.
bomb.
We would really appreciate some more cookies.
Whenever you have the time.
Whenever, like, it's just
Just
convenient.
make sure I get one, at least.
She'll bring more than one.
No, she's gonna want to. She's gonna want at least.
See what you started, Natalie. You see what you've done. You see what's happening here.
just like
Just a dozen.
like 6 batches. It's okay.
So Susan is asking, do you check to see if someone looks younger than 18, or do you check to see? Oh, I'm sorry. Check. Am I reading that right? Do you check ID? If someone looks younger than 18, we check ID.
all the time, no matter who it is.
Yeah, we check ID anyway because someone has to have by law in California a valid ID and
Yeah.
identification for us to tattoo them. So we have to do that.
Yeah,
And
their
of course,
yeah,
their
your
date.
ID's on file for us.
Yeah, that has to happen.
So try something. We got it.
People have before. I mean, it's not common, and we can usually kind of let them know we're not fucking around. Like, this is a professional place, but
Yeah.
people have tried. People have
Yeah.
absolutely came in and like, oh, I don't have an ID, but my aunt can call you. And I'm like, no, your aunt's not gonna call me.
You
need
know
an
what?
ID,
I have a
100%.
question. So I'm around a lot of younger people. So like they'll always ask me like, "Oh, can you tattoo me?" And I always tell them like, if you bring an older person, is that okay?
So you're talking about somebody.
16, 15.
So legally, no, you have to be 18. So
Oh.
if you go to other states, they have different laws. They're different than California. Of course, California surprisingly be one of the most strict. And you have to be 18 unless it's a piercing. And even with a piercing, you still have to be accompanied by a parent. Any minor getting any sort of procedure done, tattooing or piercing, has to have a guardian, not just somebody that's,
Older, yeah.
a friend. It's not like, as long as they're 18 or over, they can bring them with them. They need to be of age. And not only that, but, there's a lot of people will ask, like, hey, well, what if, I go with her and she's 16, but, like, dad comes too. It's like, there's just, especially when you're being professional, it's just not something we can do. Legally, we can't do it, but also I don't think it's necessarily a bad idea. I don't think today a 16-year-old kid really knows what the hell
Yeah,
they
no.
want, especially permanently. Piercings are one thing, they can be removed, but tattoos, telling my 16-year-old self this, I would have been like, yeah, you don't know what you're talking about, old man. Like, I know me, homie. Like, you're dumb.
Get that tattoo.
Yeah, but I'm really glad I waited for the most part to get heavily tattooed. I really didn't start until I was, definitely of legal age, but really just because I didn't want a bunch of crap on me. So that's kind of where that came from.
That's how I am about that's why I haven't got any ink in my skin yet, because I'm very meticulous.
Yes,
so,
definitely. So Ashley is saying that we missed your question. I'll scan real quick if I can see
Sorry,
if you guys see
Ashley.
it. We do apologize. Sometimes we get lost in the responses, but we have been trying our best. If you want to ask it again, there we go.
Oh.
There it is.
How difficult is it to tattoo over scars?
Wow. Yeah. So,
Yes, thank you, Natalie. I love you.
well, there's different types of scars. There's different types of scar, and there's keloid scars, right? There's another one, I forget the technical name, but there's the keloid scar that kind of bubbles up. There's a scar that's just really damaged skin. There's burns. There's not birthmarks, stretch marks.
Burn.
Yeah, there's all kinds of different types of scars.
And you did tattoo through that one.
A lot of times you can. But it depends on the condition of the
It just
scar. If
comes
it's a
out
really
lighter,
bad scar,
huh?
then it could be a problem.
What if you went over it again?
You can
though?
go over them. It's not like moles
want someone
that
to.
causes problems.
Do it.
So if you're doing like a tattoo over
Like, go.
a scar,
Go
then
for
it's
it.
probably going to be okay. It's
Over your
when
thick skin.
you have like birthmarks or like some sort of weird pigmentation areas in your skin that could cause problems. But actual scars themselves, there's not going to be harm. But because it's overabundance of skin cells kind of repairing an area or damaged skin cells, it's not going to tattoo the same. So if you, for example, had a big scar down the side of your back and you wanted to put a nice, really big portrait over it, you're still going to see that scar through the portrait, especially if it's raised up. But it is possible. I don't think there's a whole lot of risk, although it is, technically weaker skin, sometimes actually tougher skin.
So it's pretty much like you have to be okay with it not coming out. Like,
Yeah,
the scar's there.
You can kind of treat the scar like a cover-up, where you want to camouflage the scar in an area that's not so important and then bring the attention to the area that is important. So it's kind of the best way to attack scars. And sometimes people want, for example, I don't remember what it's called, but it's from side to side when they get the makeover surgery stomach things.
Liposuction.
Yeah, like they cut them like literally from here and
Yeah.
like remove skin.
Yeah.
And that scars, sometimes the length of their whole front of their torso. To cover that is hard because it's this long vertical straight line, but the scar is really not the issue. It's, making something look good that's just, long and straight across your body. So it's sometimes a design issue, but the actual scar itself is not an issue. Or at least it's not usually an issue. So, yep, sorry we missed your question. Thank you for letting us know. That's awesome because we are doing our best to get to all your guys' questions. Okay, let's see. So Dad is asking, do you ask prospective customers about any medications they take, like blood thinners? So yes, we do have a questionnaire.
Yeah.
And the questionnaire definitely asks thoroughly these things that we need to know. A lot of times, to be honest with you, people don't tell the truth, but we still have to ask so we cover our end. But while you're tattooing somebody, it's rarely the case, but there are definitely times where people bleed too much on certain types of work, and it's just really hard to continue. It's rare. I don't know if you guys had any experiences ever, like seeing tattoos, hearing tattoos, or whatever, where it's like you're tattooing or someone's getting tattooed and they have to stop because of some sort of condition.
Yeah, I had an ex-boyfriend that worked in a shop, and his client, I think she had just gotten back from like a bike ride. She had gotten hurt, and she had taken ibuprofen, but she also didn't have much food in her and just had like a little soda in her. So she damn nearly passed out, and like he had to keep on wiping it.
Yeah, blood
It was an
conditions.
issue.
This state of your health has a lot to do with it, of course. The time where it seems to be the worst issue, that's not really lining that can be the issue. If somebody has medications, or which if you do and it's a problem with the tattoos, then you want to avoid it as best possible and take care of your health before you start worrying about your tattoos, or start worrying about getting tattooed. Take care of yourself first. Be in the best condition possible so your tattoo can also heal well and you can have a great experience. But the actual area in which you tattoo, there's higher blood pressure, and if there's any paramedics on here, they would maybe be able to explain this better. But there's parts of the body, and this is from experience, has nothing to do with me reading or studying. There's parts of the body that bleed a lot more than others, and I'm guessing it has something to do with your blood pressure, and then just the fact that maybe the blood pressure on the surface of the skin is higher, especially, I call it in the bendies. Anytime you have a bendy area, it's probably a better word for it, but I call them bendies. Up on the shoulder, on the top of the shoulder, it bleeds like crazy. And if somebody also has some sort of condition, it could just make it so bad that I've had plenty of people over the years, I'd say at least a dozen, where I've had to stop just because it's so bad. A lot of people relate that to alcohol, like if you drink, are you going to bleed? I'm not going to give you guys advice on whether or not to do so. I'm just going to say that I don't know any evidence in my experience that shows that is an issue. It seems like if you're going to bleed, you're going to bleed, and if you're not, then it really doesn't matter how much you either may or may not be drinking. But that's just my experience. It's not professional advice at all. That's just how I've kind of experienced it. So Ian is on here saying the special guest is Sam? Question mark?
Yeah, it's me.
Like yes, Ian, it is.
I'm the special guest.
Check it out.
Hello.
It's Sam. He thought it was the can that I introduced earlier, but it's Sam.
And silly goose.
Man, this
silly
guy.
goose.
Yes. Mimi's on here already protecting us.
Thanks for fixing it, Mimi, and saying it's 2 M's.
Oh, there
Ian,
it is.
it's 2 M's.
Yep. So here we got actually a question right here from Mimi. Do you want to go ahead and ask that?
Yeah. How many times have you turned a birthmark or a mole into a part of a tattoo design?
That's interesting.
That's like
Birthmark or
a
mole?
really good question, Mimi.
Oh, one very specific time. Oh, this is great. I'm glad you asked that. If you guys notice that I'm fixing my shirt, it's because Sam has tattooed the shit out of my chest, and it keeps sticking. Yeah, it's fun. It's super fun. Anyway, so there's a really cool story, Mimi, and it's my friend Ashley that got a tattoo. If she ever sees this, it's her little cookie. She calls it her tough little cookie. It was a birthmark that literally looked. You know, what is the cereal that like looks like little cookies? Cookie Crisp.
Cookie Crisp, yeah.
They literally look like little
They're
chocolate
so
chips.
good. They're so good.
Her mole or birthmark, her birthmark literally looked exactly like that. And so I tattooed little arms and legs on it, and it was like a little guy flexing.
Aw, how cute.
So I absolutely did, and it was like right on the side of her leg.
That's great.
It was super cool. I don't know why I don't have a photo of it.
I want to
but
see that.
That was a good question.
If you're
Mimi, thanks for
watching,
asking.
post it on Facebook and tag Joshua Ray Farmer
Yes.
so everyone at the shop may see that tattoo. Please
Yes,
and thank
Ashley.
you.
Please,
Have a good day.
thank you very much.
She does come in here time to time too, so I'll try to remind her
Yes.
to drop trow and show us
Try to remember
for
that.
sure.
Yeah.
It was actually kind of fun. Oh, I thought he was asking again if you were the special guest. I scrolled up. I was
You're like,
Carson-
yes, bruh.
Yeah, you're gonna have to just so. Carson saying paramedic here. More areas with capillaries also, just a lot more pathways.
Capillaries.
Yeah, in certain body parts, which is going to be true. And like the face, for example, when you're piercing it, there's parts of the face that are going to bleed a lot more. There's parts of the body that are going to bleed a lot more when you're tattooing them. And so it definitely would. I mean, it would have to have something, I'm guessing, to do with capillaries, the amount of capillaries in an area, as well as the blood pressure to a
Capillaries.
certain area. It is a fun word.
Capillaries.
Yep. So Ian is asking a really good question. Ian, thank you for jumping on here and asking how much of a caloric deficit you doing right now, Josh.
We're not literary people. We're artists.
So I am in a caloric deficit for your viewing pleasure. It's not much. It's probably just a few hundred calories, but it's also only going to be for summer, and it's just for fun, just to see what happens. I like to control my appetite. It's actually a really fun discipline. Most people won't agree. So Sam, yeah, there we go.
Yes. I'll say it for you. Sam.
Wait, I want you to read. I want you to read a statement.
Sam. As in tasty? Yes. Definitely
Sam.
tasty. Yes.
Sam.
Sorry,
That makes sense. Sam. She's not Sam. She's Sam.
Sam.
Yes.
Sam.
Yep.
Oh,
Absolutely.
no.
Get it right.
I do think I had. Let me look through here one. I think I had 2 more questions I don't want to miss because these were asked. We can answer these kind of quickly too.
Okay.
I'm going to let you, Sam, since you're the special guest, you're going to ask these, and we will answer them. So go ahead. These are from Facebook. No, these I believe are from Instagram.
Brody Jade asked if you can have an artist guest spot to teach some techniques, who are some you choose?
Wow.
does
So
that mean?
to bring an artist into the shop and to show us so bring an artist in the shop as a guest, but also us be able to like kind of shadow them and check them out and learn.
That one girl that you showed, the one with the no tattoos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think she's from like Thailand. I always forget her name.
Going
Instagram
to
names are hard.
Thailand to literally
That would be
bow
cool.
down to her
That would be
and tell
cool.
her, teach me your ways, please. I will learn.
I'm guessing Midden's not still watching this, although she is. That's awesome. And
Is she really?
She totally knows who we're talking about, so if she's on here, she probably isn't on here. But if you are, let us know who we're talking about here.
Yeah.
I think she's from Thailand. She's
I think I have-
no tattoos, and her art is just amazing. So
It's not even amazing. Her art
unbelievable.
is like, she covered up. That's why when you asked, like, can you cover up a cover up? She covered up a piece that had neon green in it.
Mm-hmm.
It was like neon green, and she made it into someone's skin.
just beautiful.
It was so beautiful.
Yeah, she's incredible.
It was crazy.
She's a magician.
No, she is not even a magician. Like, that's not even who's higher than a magician?
Well, a magician's not necessarily higher. I would think the king's higher than a magician, but
Well,
she's definitely a
higher than
queen.
yeah, she's higher than a queen.
Yeah.
She's
Empress.
like, oh my gosh, yes, she's an empress.
Empress.
Yeah, shout
So
out to her.
we'll try to figure out her name
Yeah.
and then let you guys know. Phil, can you also answer that? If there was somebody that can come to the shop, so you can kind of like, let's say, shadow them and like learn from them, or you can go to their shop and see like who would you be excited to like watch and go, wow, like that's awesome, because you're gonna learn obviously something from watching somebody.
Cooney acquired.
If I could pick anybody, Shoot, I'd probably pick Kat Von D. I think that'd be fun. I think
Yes.
that'd be a fun day for us.
Oh my god, that'd be so fun. Her portraits, oh my god. I love Kat Von D.
Good question. Yes, thank you.
You
for
know,
asking
that's
this.
where I got this idea from, like on the little thingies. Is like because she posted this one post. Oh my god, it was so
Yeah.
good.
Uh-huh.
So
Her.
there's some good answers there.
I remember
I
you-
don't have a great answer, but there is somebody that, and I'm gonna butcher his name, Steve. There you go, Steve Butcher. So I was saying that to remind myself.
Wow.
So Steve Butcher is look up his work if you dare. His work is unbelievable. It's really fine detail, and it looks like a photo on somebody's skin just pasted. It's absolutely surreal. So it's not even unreal.
So
it's
he doesn't-
higher.
he
It's
doesn't-
higher than unreal.
That's what I'm saying.
Surreal.
It's like in the fifth dimension type thing.
It's amazing. So
It's so
Steve Butcher's work is just unbelievable. If you guys
Oh,
want to look
look
it
at! I
up,
found it. Oh my god.
it's unbelievable. It doesn't make sense to me. It's so
Like, that's crazy.
badass. So Steve Butcher, if you guys want to come to the shop, and if you want to come to the shop and do a guest spot, feel free to, or join us on our
That's
live.
so
That would be
cool.
awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, Steve, come through.
Yep.
Come through.
Carson said, "Say a wizard would be higher than a magician," and I would say I agree. And the equivalent to that as a female would be a witch. So, Rochelle Renee, Sam. Actually, before we get to her, we got to finish these because
Okay.
we got to make sure we at least get to everybody's.
What is the funniest thing that's happened to you in the shop?
Oh, jeez.
That's a good question.
That is a good. Who asked this question?
Thomas Elizabeth.
Thomas Elizabeth. Thomas probably and Elizabeth. What is the funniest thing that's happened to you in the shop? That would take a lot of thinking, to be honest.
I haven't been there that long.
Yeah.
I haven't been here.
How about
long
ever,
enough.
like in any tattoo related environment, like anything? I can't think of. I can think of some small stuff, but I'm gonna guess there's
What'd you
quite a
say?
few.
You don't like to embarrass yourself?
I can't really think of anything that's monumental. The only thing I can think of was,
Yeah.
and to me it was funny, was somebody walked in and they were obviously drinking and they were acting a bit of a fool, and we asked him to leave, and then he kind of snapped at Peach a little bit, and when he did that, I told him, dude, you have 3 seconds and you're going to be removed, and he had 2 of his buddies with him, which were not by any means small men, and so there's 3 of them and then 2 of us, me and Peach, and when he mouthed off to her, I counted down to 3, and I'm like, dude, hoping that they would remove their drunk friend, and they didn't. They just looked at me in confusion. So I got up incredibly quickly, threw my chair. Peach was snapping at him, and I'm like, yeah, don't fuck with our Peachy. And I got up and
Not
started
Peaches.
walking around, and that dude bolted out the door, and he didn't want anything to do with it. And his friends were just like shocked, didn't know what the hell was going on.
Yeah.
And I asked him a few times nicely
That's
to
not
leave,
funny.
and he
That's
wouldn't.
intense.
Yeah.
Well, what was funny is that when he walks out the door, he pokes his head and he goes, "Fuck you," and then leaves. And I'm like, really? And then he just waits outside for an Uber for like 30 minutes, just standing there. I'm like, tough guy, because he was trying to act pretty tough, and it was cute.
I have a
Um,
good one.
but it was funny that he poked his head back in. And it leads to the second funny story that I thought of first, which is a guy poked his head in one time. You can see this actually online. There's a few videos of it I've posted. Maybe I'll try to link it in this if I can at some point. Not today, but maybe in the pre-recording or post. So the guy goes to the parking lot. We see him go, across our window into the parking stall, gets out, comes in, he looks in, and he said something along the lines of like, "How's it going?" I'm like, "Hey, what's up? How can we help you? How's your day?" And he goes, "Shitty." And I said, "Shitty." And he goes, "Yeah, fuck the tattoo, all right?" And just left. I'm like, what was that? And it was so funny because it's just stupid. You know what I mean? Like, some dude just pokes his head on the door and says, "Fuck the tattoo." I'm like, what?
I thought of the funniest time. One of the most funniest experiences in the shop. Okay, so one day.
Oh dear. Wait,
You
hold
already
on.
know, huh?
Can you at least screen it? Like, which story? What are you gonna do here? What's going on?
Okay,
Let's see.
so-
Where's my mute button, just in case? Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay,
Go ahead.
okay. So one day I was walking into the shop, I thought it was gonna be a regular schmegular day, just coming into the shop, whatever. Minna was tattooing Haley, their wonderful woman that work at the shop with us, and so I was like, oh, that's cool, like that's super cool, like Minna's doing her thing and Haley's getting a new tat, like cool. And so I walked to like the little station because Minna's station's right by the hand wash thing, and I walked to the station and I take a glance at Haley and I see a snake on her freaking chest.
I think it was like a python.
I don't know
Ball
what it
python?
was.
Ball
No,
python.
it was like a cute little white yellow snake.
Yeah.
It was so cute, but at the second that I seen that, I was like,
You literally jumped back like 5 feet.
Yeah, I was like,
You looked like you saw a ghost.
No, literally, that's how it felt. I was like, what the, why is this a thing right now? No one
That was
prepared
like the
me.
last thing you expected.
Yeah.
Especially during a tattoo, you're like, isn't this supposed to be sanitary?
For real, yeah.
Yeah, it was. I'll never forget your face because I saw it. You did like a hoo. You did like a hoo, and you jumped back and you literally looked like you saw a ghost. I'm like, oh yeah, Haley has her snake. So thank you for that, Haley.
Yeah,
We
thanks, Haley.
absolutely appreciate you. That was awesome. That's fun. So we got all the questions online. Those are all knocked out. So thank you guys for asking those if you're still watching or watching this later. We do have a few, it looks like, on here that we can get to right before we jump off. Guys, we are going to jump off here pretty quickly, but no matter what, after we answer some of these questions that have been asked, we appreciate you. So stick with us until we are done here, and then we will give you, well, let's see here. This question from Rochelle Renee. Do you want, oh yeah, you're going to read them now. That's why I got you here.
I'm not a literary person. I hate reading.
Okay,
I'll
you
read
want
them.
me to read it?
Yeah, Fel can read
Fel's
it.
great at this.
Yeah.
If one wanted to send a package to the shop, will there most likely be someone there during all business hours?
Oh, that's an interesting question. So we get packages all the time. We almost never miss them because we're here during business hours almost always, and it's weekdays, so that's never a problem. So if you want to send us cookies, the girls would absolutely appreciate that. I doubt she's going to send cookies from Oregon, but you just never know.
You could send, I've never been to Oregon, so I don't know.
You need to go. It's amazing.
I would love to go. That'd be cool. I'm going to put it on the bucket list.
So Ian is saying Sam is higher than a wizard. I dig that.
I think we should pen that.
Just pin that. Just keep it.
Let's just have
Let's just
that
keep
forever.
that forever. So Valerie's on here, and she is. By the way, Valerie, where are you watching from? If you don't mind us asking, general location. We'd like to know who's on here and we guys are actually viewing from, and kind of join the club here. So thank you for asking a question. I'll go ahead and read it. Does anyone do Art Nouveau style in the shop?
What style?
Art Nouveau.
What's that?
So you should look it up so that you can kind of see the style because it's very specific. I've been asked this quite a few times. It's definitely not my style. It's a little simpler than my sort of portrait realism 3D type preference. But we do have a few girls in here that, and even Sam and Fel eventually, I think that would be a great style for them to do because it's
Oh, heck yeah.
it's actually kind of similar to
like
Fel's art
pinkish.
in a way.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's beautiful.
So this is your response for this question, Valerie. So thank you for asking.
I'd gladly love to try to do something like that. Oh, that's
It's
beautiful.
very Renaissance, sort of, muted colors, sort of traditional, but with a sort of, I
Like
guess,
earthy tones.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a very specific
I'm
but
gonna
very
have to
unique
Pinterest
art.
this one. What is it? How do you do it again?
I like Art Nouveau's architecture.
She-
So
yeah,
I have
that's-
my home designed like
Yeah,
that one.
no
day.
Right? That'd be
Yes,
beautiful. That'd be so
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah.
So thanks for asking that question, Valerie.
Thanks for putting us on, Valerie.
Not gonna
Thank
settle
you.
for anything less. Thank you, Valerie.
Yes. Oh, Valerie.
So I'm gonna say Amanda's still on here. You guys, we're just gonna give a quick shout out. Let's see here. We'll keep her business private, but Amanda is a great person. She's a loyal customer, and she's super rad. And she's going to be waiting for a long time for her next appointment. And she is, let's just say this, maybe I'll explain later, but she's an absolutely wonderful person. And I think we should give her a little bit of love here. So thank you, Amanda, even though you're not asking a question. Thank you so much for being such an awesome person, a rad customer. And
Shout out to you, Amanda.
And thank you for being patient, too. I really,
that
really
Aphrodite?
genuinely appreciate that. So
She pretty.
That's beautiful,
Yeah,
huh?
it doesn't go
Yeah, it's beautiful.
unappreciated. So
I want
thank
it.
you for that.
Her.
All right, let's do Ashley. Ashley is asking a question. Have you ever had a client quit in the middle of a session because they couldn't handle the pain? Absolutely. Yeah, 100%, no doubt. Quite a few times, and some of them I've never seen again. Some of them didn't make it past
They're
the doorway. They didn't even get out the front door, so they were a dunzo.
They weren't messing with
They
you.
were not
they
messing.
were not
Nope,
about
they
it.
said, I'm out of here. Yeah. Just a little bit of detail. I did it on a guy one time, just 3 little lines about 1 inch long on his side, and he was done, and he got up and out, and I've not seen him since. So that was.
I wouldn't have wanted to come back after that.
I
either.
don't think he ever wants to see me
Yeah.
again.
No,
Yeah.
I wouldn't.
Yep.
Yeah, no.
There you go. So let's go ahead and make sure that we're figuring out or reading all these. We don't want to leave any of you guys hanging. So we apologize if we didn't get to all your questions, but we do our best. We did answer all the questions from online, but we will get to you guys here best we can.
Do you have a cap on age? Jennifer asks.
A cap on age? That's actually a really good question. Jennifer is asking, do I have a cap on age? She has a mother. My mother is 72 and really wants a tattoo.
Aww.
So no, that's not a problem at all. Especially you're saying it's a small one, and she has very fair old lady skin. That's a great description. So thank you. Yeah, absolutely. You should bring her in. Just bring her in.
That works.
Yeah, and we can talk to her about our idea. That's not a problem at all. The oldest person I've ever tattooed, which I'm proud to say, was an old friend of mine, Jim, who's now passed. He was the first shop, I don't know what to call him, shop club member. Like, he was just a cool man. I opened the shop, and he was the first person to come in and make himself at home, and he kind of became really part of the team. I wish he was still around because, well, it would have just been awesome. But he was like 84, 85, and he was just the coolest old man, and he would come in here and get tattooed all the time. It does pose challenges, but it's definitely possible. So, yeah, no worries there. Bring her in, and we will check it out. We would look forward to it.
We tattoo on fake skin, so I'm sure we could figure out real skin.
Yeah.
So Jade is reminding me that Fel said she had a story and you guys missed hers.
Yes.
So are we bullying you?
Yeah.
We're just over here just like...
I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
Sam is
it
handling
happens a lot. Well, I forgot to. Like, I was getting into your guys' story, so... Thanks for reminding us all.
Yes, we appreciate it.
It was for this one. What was the funniest thing that has happened at the shop? Not this shop, but I used to work at another shop in Pacific Beach in San Diego. And I'm not going to say which one, but it was one right on the strip, right by the boardwalk. So there was a lot of traffic, especially at nighttime. We were open till 4 a.m., so a lot of drunk people and a lot of people on special substances would see me through the window and think I'd be a fairy or their guardian angel. And that actually happened one time.
It's scary, probably.
Really?
Yeah, somebody came in on
That's not cool.
the yeah, on that and
On substances.
on substances and
Allegedly.
they thought I was their magic fairy godmother
Wow.
or
I can
something
see that.
like that.
I can totally see
But
that.
like I had to hide like
It
behind
can be scary.
the desk. Like he was trying to like
Yeah.
take me with him.
Wow.
Like he was trying to like snatch me.
No. You were like, please go away.
I'm like
Help. This guy could just pick me up and
no,
take me.
I literally had to scream for help. I'm like, yo, guys, like I'm like, people, like come to the front.
Yeah, you're like, somebody help
Hello.
me, please, please, please.
Yeah, because it was like almost closing time, and you know the freaks come out at night when it's dark. So
Very true.
Come out at night.
Well, there's going to be plenty of new stories to be told in the future, so all of these questions could be asked multiple times, multiple different ways, and we will have so many different ways to answer them because this journey never ends. I will say this. I really appreciate you guys on here and joining. Actually, I think this was a really great session and really cool to interact with you. I don't always get this kind of time with my clients or customers, friends or family to interact like this, so it's really fun for me. I think even for the ladies, it was fun for me to sit here and be able to do this with them.
Yeah, this was really fun.
Yeah, I really
thanks for
appreciate
coming,
it.
Sam.
Sam did so good.
How did we like it with
Thanks.
Sam
Thank you.
today?
She did so great.
We loved it.
Yeah, you guys,
Loved it.
before we leave, you guys should give Sam some props because this is the first time she's ever done a live, and she absolutely did well.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'm
Everybody
impressed.
thanks Sam for her
Thank you very
presence.
Yes.
much.
And Fel, the lovely Fel, thank you so much for co-hosting with me.
Of course.
It's been awesome.
Happy to do it.
Yeah, I definitely appreciate both of you, and I think it was fun. I think
Yeah.
this isn't gonna be the last time. This isn't gonna be the last time. What I envisioned when this happened was one of these days I'm gonna be like sick or hurt or out of town, and guess what? Somebody's gonna be the host, and somebody else is gonna have to be the co-host.
Okay, I could do that.
Yep.
As long as you're the host, though.
So what do you guys think? You guys want to see that? Give Sam and Fel some props. We're gonna bounce out here in a second. What's our closing remarks, guys? What should we say?
Bring
cash.
Bring cash. Yep, they nailed it. We could just absolutely. We started it there and could have ended it, and now we're gonna end it there because that's where we started it. So
Thanks for the love and support, Mimi. I love you.
Yep. So thank you guys. We'll see you next time. If you're not aware, this is what we do every Wednesday. We're going to do a live Q&A. We're going to ask questions online, whether it's Facebook or Instagram. And you guys can, if you don't get a chance to do it there through the stories, you can, technically you can ask them anywhere. You want to ask them in comments. You want to ask them in this during the live. You can do that. You can even come in, bring cash, and ask questions in the shop. So do so. Other than that, we thank you for watching. This is going to be Wednesdays, usually around 5 or 6. I'd like to stick to a time, but you're just going to have to bear with us for now. We are artists. We look forward to seeing you again. So
Time isn't
Bring
real.
cash.
Yep. Bring cash. Absolutely. Sam,
Bring cash.
any last thing you'd like to say?
Thanks for having me. This was actually not as horrible as I thought it was gonna be.
You thought it was going to be way worse.
I didn't want to do it at all.
So that's part of
it
it,
was
though.
actually fun.
That's part of it. It's like having that feeling and then going, oh, it's not what all the fear I thought it was
It's
going to
not. It's not great. It's
I
like
know.
You guys
it's
did
pretty
awesome.
cool. It's pretty easy.
be. Yes. So thank you, ladies.
It's easier
for-
now that you can see yourself.
Thank you for joining me. Thank you guys for joining us here, and we absolutely look forward to seeing you next time. And we'll be waiting for your questions, and you can wait for our responses. So see you guys from High Sierra Tattoo Co., Clovis, California, 93612-601 West Shaw. No phone number. Hump Day Wednesday Q&A extraordinaire. Bell, Sam, Farmer. Thank you,
We
guys.
out.
We're out.
Bring cash.
Yes, bring cash, and we'll see you in the shop, or next time, actually, I guess.
Wow. This was great. This is